What if the feeling of being stuck is not a sign that something is wrong with you? What if it's not laziness, not a lack of discipline, and not a personal failure? What if this feeling exists for a reason? Most people treat being stuck as something that must be fixed immediately. They try to push harder. They try to force motivation. They blame themselves for not moving fast enough. But what if your brain is not broken at all? What if it is doing exactly what it was designed to do? Feeling stuck doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it feels quiet. You wake up, do what you're supposed to do, and yet everything feels heavy. Decisions take longer than they should. Even simple choices feel strangely exhausting. You're not falling apart. You're not failing publicly. You're just paused. And that pause is often misunderstood. From the outside, it looks like procrastination. From the inside, it feels like resistance without a clear cause. This state doesn't happen to people who don't care. It happens to people who do. People who think deeply. People who have already tried pushing forward before and learn that pushing has a cost. Your brain evolved to protect you, not to make you ambitious or successful. It constantly scans for danger, not just physical danger, but emotional and psychological risk, uncertainty, loss of control, change without guarantees. When you stand at the edge of something unfamiliar, your brain doesn't ask, will this help you grow? It asks, could this hurt you? And when the answer is unclear, your brain slows everything down. Thoughts become heavier. Energy drops. Movement feels wrong. Not because you are incapable, but because your brain senses too many unknown outcomes at once. Motivation is not a personality trait, it's a biological response. When your brain feels safe, motivation flows easily. When safety disappears, motivation is one of the first things to shut down, because motivation leads to action, and action without clarity increases risk. So instead of giving you energy, your brain creates hesitation, overthinking, delay. It feels frustrating, but it's also protective. Your mind is saying, not yet. We don't understand this situation enough. This is where many people make things harder than they need to be. They push harder when resistance appears. They add pressure. They shame themselves into action. But pressure doesn't resolve uncertainty. It amplifies it. When you force movement without understanding fear, your brain interprets it as threat, and it responds by increasing fatigue. This is why people feel burned out even when they're not doing much. They're not tired from action. They're tired from holding the brakes while pressing the gas. Internal conflict is exhausting. Feeling stuck often appears between two identities: who you were and who you are no longer able to be. Your old habits stop working, your old goals stop motivating you, but the new version of yourself hasn't fully formed yet. This in-between space feels uncomfortable because there is no script, no familiar role to follow, no clear direction to commit to. Your brain pauses here to observe, to reassess, to prevent you from rushing into another version of life that doesn't fit. There are moments when your brain refuses to move forward, no matter how much you want it to. Not because you lack ambition, not because you've lost discipline, but because moving too early comes with a cost. When decisions are made before understanding is formed, the result is often regret. Commitments that feel heavy too quickly. Paths that look right at first but quietly drain you over time. Your brain remembers this. Even if you don't consciously recall the mistake, your nervous system does. It recognizes patterns where speed led to loss, where momentum replaced clarity. So when a similar situation appears again, your mind slows everything down, not to stop you forever, but to make sure you don't repeat a cycle that once hurt you. People are often told to just rest, and sometimes rest helps. But feeling stuck is rarely physical exhaustion. It's cognitive and emotional. You can sleep more and still feel unsure. You can take a break and still feel directionless. Because the problem isn't energy, it's unresolved questions. Your mind keeps circling the same uncertainty even when your body is still. Your brain isn't asking you to move faster. It's asking you to understand something first. What has changed? What feels unsafe now? What are you afraid of losing, even if you can't name it clearly? Until those questions are acknowledged, movement feels wrong, so your brain protects you by slowing everything down. What if being stuck is not something to escape, but something to listen to? What if this state exists to prevent you from repeating old mistakes or committing to paths that no longer align with who you are becoming? Stillness can feel frustrating, but it can also be strategic. Sometimes the safest form of progress is patience. Instead of asking, "How do I get out of this?" what if you asked, "What is this trying to protect me from?" Because once that question becomes clear, movement often returns naturally, not forced, not rushed, just ready.